Hello everyone, welcome back to the second part of the lecture series that is data analytics using Tableau. So, here in the first part, we have studied all the introductory of what is data analytics with Tableau, what all various versions of Tableau are. You even have a go through with some of the best designs that were developed using Tableau. So, I have also in the first part asked you to create your account on Tableau Public and download that Tableau Desktop. So, if you have not done that, please do so because in this course you'll be needing that. So let me just show you how, once again how to install Tableau Desktop. So for that, you will click on the link which I have provided, or you can directly go to www.tableau.com/product/desktop. And here you will be able to see a start a free trial version here on Tableau Desktop. You just click on the start free trial version and it will open you to this tab where you can install your Tableau Desktop for 14-day free trial. It does not require any card or anything. You just might have to enter your email address. Since I'm already logged in here, that is why it is not showing that. Otherwise, you just have to add your email address and you just click on download free trial. It will install a version for 14 days. However, if you are a student or a teacher, so you can also be able to get a free 1 year license. But for that, you have to enter your student ID and you have to submit an application to the Tableau, and they will respond you within 1 to 2 weeks if you will be able to receive 1 year free license or not. If that, then they will give you the link for that as well. However, for this course, you will be only needing a 14-day trial. So just click on download free trial, install, follow the instructions. Once it is installed, it will somewhat look like this. This is the home page of your Tableau. In this home page, let's first give you an overview of the entire layout of this home page. Then we'll move with the projects. So you'll be working with this Tableau. This is Tableau Desktop. On the left hand side, you will see the connect option here, where you can connect various data sources. Like you can connect Tableau server here. As I said, that Tableau has four products, that is Tableau server, Tableau prep, Tableau public, and Tableau desktop. You will be using Tableau public and Tableau desktop throughout this course. So make sure you make an account on Tableau public, that is a live platform where you can showcase your dashboards. And this is a Tableau desktop, which will be a local application installed on, and you can create dashboards. You can also connect to a file like for Microsoft Excel, text file, Access, PDFs. You can also connect to any other server, database server like MongoDB, Oracle, SQL. There are multitude of servers that are given here. You can connect to that as well. Apart from that, on the very bottom, you can see some sample dashboards. Even you can have a look at the bottom here also. Some sample dashboards that are there. Once you have a free time, go through that. You will might have some or the other more experience on creating dashboards. On the right hand side, you can see a discover pane where you can view various training videos and you can get various training resources as well. So this was the basic layout of your Tableau desktop. So let's get back, dive into our project. So before moving to the project, let me just give you an overview of the project. So we will be doing throughout this course 5 projects and we'll be having a hands-on practice on that. So please make sure you make a Tableau desktop account, Tableau desktop you must install, and follow along with me to through these projects. So the very first project which we'll be working on is a discount mart. Then we'll go for green destination, then superstore. Lastly, second last we'll be doing Northwind trade, and lastly we will be working on Tesla data sets. So all the data sets will be given to you through links. I'll be sharing this PPT as a PDF as well. So links are here. You can simply download whatever is required. So let's move to the project one, which is the discount mart. It is a sales and profit analysis project. The overview which you will be doing throughout this project is that you first I'll give you an overview or the brief of what you have to do in this project. Second, we'll be connecting and preparing data. Then we'll be building chart on Tableau. Then we'll be creating headlines, cards, as well as lastly, we'll be building the dashboard and publishing it onto our public account, that is Tableau Public. So let's have a brief overview of what exactly the Discount Mart project is. Now, what is Discount Mart? It is a small supermarket owned by Grand Cross. Now, he wants a dashboard where he can track how well Discount Mart is doing for this year. Now, in terms of sales, profit, and quantity sold, we have to create a dashboard. He also would like to know how well categories are performing as well as for different regions. So we have to consider every aspect and we have to create a dashboard based on this aspect. Apart from that, Grand Frost assumes that most of his customers buys only two or more products per basket. That means two or more products they actually add to the basket. So he assumes that, and we have to prove it through the data visualization. Lastly, he also have said to note that the profit which will be calculated will be on 30% of the selling price. So this was an overview of the project which we will be working. Next, these are the two data which you have to install. The first is the data set on which we'll be working of the discount mart, and then there is the logo of discount mart, which is this logo which we'll be using on our dashboard. So make sure you install this. I'll be sharing the link on the chat box as well. And lastly, I would like you to look at the dashboard which we'll be creating. So this is somewhat an overview of the dashboard which you will be creating. Here we'll be have the name and the logo of the discount mart, followed by the sales for per year, which he asked, then sales by category, and then by quantity sold, as we want to also know that how many baskets, how many items are being added to the basket per purchase. So this is how we will be creating that. And lastly, we want to know the sales to the regions. So apart from that, we also have calculated the overall sales, overall profit, as well as overall quantity. So this is what we will be creating on Tableau. So let's go ahead and begin. So let's go back to our Tableau, and the very first thing is that please make sure you install the CSV file and keep it on your local drive, because that is what we will be importing on Tableau here. So let's click on the text file which is we'll be importing, and since I have already stored it here, so I just have to click and I have to open. Once I do that, my data will be imported on Tableau, as you can see here. Now my data has an overall, if you look at this, my this discount mart file, if you look at this file is connected here. You can edit this connection. By editing this connection, you can simply, if you have imported a wrong file, you can re-import a different file and all that, but we have imported the correct file, so we will be not doing anything apart from that. We can add another connection as well. If you want, you can add another kind of file also. And every book which is whatever sheets are there, that will be shown here. So you will have the list of sheets that are there for all the connections which you have imported. Here in this area, if you want to link through sheets like you are creating relational tables, so you can do that across the databases which you have imported here. However, we are just working on the single sheet, so we don't have to do that. Apart from that, you will see here, this is the data which we have imported. It has 9,994 rows and 19 fields. That means there are 19 categories. Now, if you look at the categories, let's go over that very quickly. You see the row. Let me just sort this category into, let's say, ascending order. You can sort that according to your data. You can ascending order per table, or you can sort it in the descending order, whatever order you want. So let's say I have sorted it according to the ascending order. So my data is sorted from C to S, that is category to S. Now, if you let's have a look at what all the categories we have. So the very first thing is we have a category. Now you look at the top here, you can see the data type of the category. This data type is string, which is correct for this. Then if you look at the city, it is also a string. The data type is string, but as you see, the symbol is different. What it does is that it also maps its geographical role. Now, this is the city actually. These are all the cities. So this will not only just map it as a string, it will also assign a geographical role as a city. That means the Tableau reads this data as a city as well. Then this is for the country, so it will also map it to a geographical role, that is country or region. And since this is a string customer ID, it will just map it to a string. Customer name is also a string. And if you look at this, this is a data type of date. So if there is only date, it will be mapped as date. If there is date and time both, then it will be mapped as date and time. Then we have order ID, which is again a string. We have postal code. Now that is also identifies some of the other region. So if you look at the geographical role, it is again mapped to a zip code and postal code. Then we have the product name, product ID, which is all the string. Quantity, which is a number now. Since it is a whole number, so it is mapped to a whole number. Now, this region, however, does not state anything particular. That is why this is only mapped as a string and not given any geographical role. Because this does not work in any. South is something that is very general. So you cannot, use south to search some particular location. So we are not mapping it or giving it any geographical role. Then we have row ID, which is also a number, whole number. Then we have the sales, which is a decimal value. So we have a number, decimal number. Then we have sales agent ID. So this is the ID of the sales agent who has, completed this transaction. Then we have the ship date, the ship mode, state. State will again be mapped to a geographical role, that is state and province. And lastly, we have the subcategory. Now, in case if anything is mapped incorrectly, we can map it by ourselves as well. And we can even assign the geographical rule depending on our understanding if the Tableau has not mapped it. So, however, it is already mapped, so we are not doing anything in this. It is all correct. And if you look at this part here, you see that there is an option called Use Data Interpreter. This is generally used to clean our workbook text file, which will be our including here. So if the data is something abrupt and if they are not in proper rows, then we can do that by using use data interpreter. However, if you look at the data, it is already cleaned and aligned, so we don't have to use that. Now here on this side, you will see on the rightmost side, you see an option that is called filter. Now, if you don't want to use all the 9,000 rows, we can add filters and we can in the initial stage only we can remove the unused data, like you can just click on add, and let's say I want to add use the data according to a country. Okay, so I'll go there is only one data, that is of country, so let's add another filter. Let's say we will do it according to a city. So once we go to the city, there are multiple cities here. So let's say if I want to go for a city, let's say Cambridge, I'll just select that and I'll do OK. So this filter is added, and once I click OK, only the data that is of Cambridge will be shown here, that is of 6 rows. So this data can now be used for further creating a dashboard. Now we don't have to filter it later on. Everything is filtered prior only. However, we have to use, here we are using all the data, so we will not be filtering out. To remove the filter, we will click on the edit option. This edit data source filter box will open. You just click on the filter which you want to remove and just click on remove, and it will be removed. So you will have the data back. Now on this side, you will see an option called connection. There are two options here, live and extract. Now let me just give you an overview of both. Live is basically that connection where the Tableau imports live data into itself as well. Now here, what data which I have used, it is just a snippet, or let's say for a particular time period, this data is here. However, if I'm using a live data, then the data that is directly coming from the website will be imported here after every interval of time. So Tableau here will not only just using this data, but also the data we are trying to connect it or importing from other websites or other data sources. Now the issue here comes is that if we are using a live data, it is less optimal. Why? Because Tableau is not just focusing on manipulating or using this data to present the results. It is also focusing on importing other data from different data sources as well. So it reduces the overall performance. So by practice, if there is not the need of continuously updating your dashboard at every point of time, what we do is that we use an extract. Extract is basically the data that is we have imported and that is a small snippet. So the dashboard will only be generated on this amount of data which we have imported, not on live. So since we are working on the fixed table, so let's go click on extract and let's start with the dashboard creation. Now, so this was all about the data import. Now let's go to sheet one. This creates a new worksheet. So you have to save wherever you want to save the worksheet. So I'll be saving the worksheet with Discount Mart. I'm okay with it. So I'll just click on save and it will be saved. And you will see that this here is the main area where we will be creating different sheets. Now, if you look at this image, you will see that all these are different sheets which we have created, and these sheets are the sheets which we have imported into a dashboard, and we have created this entire dashboard. So this is what we will be doing here. If you look on the left hand side, you will see all the 19 categories of the table that was there. However, if you look closely, you will see that some are in blue whereas some are in green. Now let me just discuss quickly that as well. The headings or categories that are on blue, they are called dimensions. Now, dimensions are those data that cannot be used for any mathematical calculation. That means you won't be able to perform any mathematical operation on order ID or postal code or city. You cannot perform any mathematical calculations on that. However, if you look at these quantity and sales. These are in green. That shows this is called the measure. Now, these measures, we can perform the mathematical operations, and we can do like we can calculate profit, or we can calculate loss, or we can calculate many other things we can perform by using formulas and functions. So this part is called the measure. So all that is in blue is called the dimension, and everything that is in green is called the measure. Now, if you look at this part, in the sales agent ID, it has been incorrectly mapped as a measure. However, sales agent ID is not used for, creating any sort of calculation. So, now, since it is incorrectly mapped by Tableau, what we are doing is we will be mapping it correctly. Now, for doing that, we can simply change dimension to measure or measure to dimension. We will just right click on the arrow here and we will simply go to the option called convert dimension. Now, once we do that, I'm so sorry. Once we do that, our dimension has been changed. Now, from the measure, it has changed to dimension. So now we have this as here rather than in the measure part. So this was the very first thing. Next, we will be talking about, so this these italic items that are there. So these are the self-generated or Tableau generated data from the table which we have imported. So these are not the part which we have imported, but these are created by Tableau itself. So you need not worry about it. Sometimes when we use maps, especially when we are creating an infographic chart, at that time, latitude and longitude are usually used, so they are all created by the Tableau. So and then we will talk about the filters where we can add filters as well. Now to create, we just have to drag and drop. So let's say if I want to calculate sales on the base of, let's say, region. So I'll just go to region and I'll take sales. So there are 4 regions: central, east, south, and west. And based on that, whatever sales we have represented as a bar graph. We can change this graph as well by going to the show me option, and we can create whatever we want. Let's say if I want to create a pie chart. So I'll just click on the pie chart and this will be created as a pie chart. So this is how we will do that. Now, if I want to remove it, I'll just, drag and remove the items. So it will be clear. So this is how we will be working on. So let's start by creating our very first chart, which is according to the project, it is the chart for sales for this year. So let's go to sales for year part. So let's create the first window. Um, Let me go back to the Tableau. So now here for creating here we'll be creating an yearly line chart that will map sales by months. So based on that we will first of all we will drag the sales because we are working on the sales. So we will drag it, let's say, on the row option. Yeah, let's go to the column option, or wherever you want you can do that. So once we have done, now it will be done based on the date or the month. So we will just take the date here. Our date is on here. This is our date, and I'll drag it here. Now you see it is creating somewhat of a this graph. But we here we want a line chart. So first of all, let me just remove sales. If you look at this, it is creating a dot chart. What we have to do is that we have to create a line chart. So let me just add sales here, and I'll just go to show me, and we have this line chart here. So I'll just click on the line chart. Now this is a line chart, and we will make some changes as well here. So let's do that. Once I have imported it, now since we are talking about sales by months, and since it is showing by year, like how many sales are on 2016, how many in 2017, 18 and 19 and so, but we want all the sales that are between 2016 to 17 for every month. For doing that, I just have to go to this pill which is here, and there is a drop down option. I will click, and you will see that here we can create based on year, quarter, month, and even day. Or there are week numbers and weekday as well. So let's, if I'm going for just month, it will just segregate it for months as well. But I want both month and the year. So I'll just go to the second option, this option that is month, which is mapped by year. So you see my basically the graph is mapped by year as well as a month. So these are the months. You can see April here, you can see March here, you can see, and so on. So this is a graph which is created. Now let's modify this graph first, and then we will move further. So now for this graph, I want it to be mapped like I mean, I want this to, this is a sales part, and these are all the currencies. So since I am in India, I wanted to have a currency, option as well. So I'll just, click on the format option, and this pane will be open. You can see there are two things, access. So whatever we are doing, it will be changing the axis, and pane is this area. So whatever we are doing, this area will get changed. So let's go to the axis part. Here I want it to be in currency. So I'll just go to the currency standard part, and I will assign whatever currency it is. So let's say if I want it to be India, so let's go to English India. Now you see that the values has been changed to rupees, right? Now the symbol will be added to everything. Even on the pane also, you will see that now it is showing rupees. Now I don't want these two decimal places as well. So what I'll do is I'll just go to custom, and I will reduce the decimal place. So this has reduced to decimal place. Now one more thing, I don't want so many zeros. I want it in thousands, like 12, 120K, 110K, 100K, 90K. So for doing that, I just have to go to the this part where number part, and I will simply go to the display units. Here in the custom part only, when I go to the display unit, you see what if I want it in K, I will be seeing it in K, if in M, millions, if in billions, if in jillions. So whatever symbol I want to use, I can use it from here. So let's say I'm doing in thousand. Once I done that, you can see that the zeros have been removed and it is replaced by K. And even here also, if I want to do it in pane, it has also already been updated in pane as well. Okay. So this was the first part. Now let's go to the this was done. Now I want lines instead of dots here. I don't like the dots here, and I don't like these grid lines as well. So let's do that as well. So I'll just show, go to the show me part and I'll select the line chart. So this is the line chart. So now instead of dots, now you can see various lines, right? I don't want to these grid lines at the back which are showing. I just don't like those. If I want to change that, I'll again click on right click here and I'll go to the format part. And here you can see you can change the lines from these three. These are the grids. So on the sheets, if you want, you can change the line and I'll just do it none. And once I do none, it will be removed for the grid lines. If I want the grid lines, however I want it, I can do that as well. I can even change for rows and columns as well. So for columns, if I don't want any grid lines, I can remove from columns as well. If I want some grid lines, I can select, and for the columns, the grid lines will be here. So I will just do none. So for the, if I'm going for columns and rows, then only the change will be made depending on the row and column. But if I'm going for directly sheet, the change will be made on the sheet, entire sheet. So this is what it is. Apart from that, let's say I want to give it a background color. For that, I'll just go to this coloring or format shading part, and I can for the sheet, all the editing will be done on the entire sheet. So let's go to the worksheet part and let me give some nice color to it. So I've given this as a background. Okay. Okay, that's all. Now let's go to the labels here. I want to change the view of it. So let me go to the title part. Now this title, I want it into a uh, Tableau bold. So this title will convert to Tableau bold. I want it in the size, let's say 8 and not 9. So I can do that as well. So this is done. For this part, I want to change. So I will again go to the upper part for the default and see whatever changes I am making. It is showing here for the axis part. So I have changed the axis. Now, if I want to do for the entire pane, I can do that as well. I can just simply go to the pane, and once I will do it for the pane, everything in the pane area, that is including these, will also be changed. So Tableau board, let's make it 9. And okay. So this is the, now let me do, if I'm doing for the entire sheet, so everything will be changed for the entire sheet. So I can apply it to the entire sheet as well. Now see, if you look at here, as I've reduced the size, it is also started showing me some months as well. So you can do that. You can change the color from here, you can change the header and everything, and just it will work like that. Now let's change the sheet name. So I'll double click on it. So this pane will open. I also want it into Tableau bold. Let me write the sheet name. So the sheet name is, let's say, sales by months. And let me just select this and I'll make it to a center alignment. I want it bold and I want the size to be, let's say, 10. Once I do that, see, it is coming on top. If I want to change the color, I can change the color from here as well. So let me just change the color by selecting it and changing it to a green, since the logo of Discount Mart is green. So we will do that. See, now once it is done, I want this is for the entire year. That is, it is starting from 2016 and it is going till 2019. But if you look at the problem statement, the what Grant Fox wants is for this year. That is for the current year. Let's say for him the current year is 2019. So he wants a detail by month for the current year only. So we can do that as well. So what we will do is that we will just drag the order date, that is the order date here, and we will drag it to the filter part. Now what filter says, how do you want to filter it? So let's say I want to filter it according to the years. I'll just select year and I'll do next. Now I want all the years to be shown. So I'll just select all. So all years will be created in the filter. If I want some particular years, so I'll just deselect the ones which I don't want and I'll click on OK. So once this is done, our filter will be here. However, we cannot see where we can filter. So for that, I'll just go here and I will click on show filter. So you see on this side, you can see the filter. Now it is for all the years. Let's say I just want for 2019. So I'll just deselect and I'll go to 2019. Now you can see all the months that are there in 2019. However, when you see at the top, the heading is not dynamic, like it is showing by months. But it is not making any sense. So I want that if I am selecting 2019, then it shows like sales by 2019. If I'm selecting 2018, it shows sales by 2018. For doing that, again, I'll double click it and I'll just remove this month part from here. And instead of, putting any value, I'll put a dynamic tag, which will be put by using here insert option. In the insert option, I will just go to year part. Now in this year part, once I do that and I click on OK, now see, my month has been changed to year. Now, as I will change the filter, it will change the year as well. Now see, if it is 2016 and 2019, it is showing that. If I don't want of 2019, only 2018, so it will do 2018, 2018 or 19, it will show that. So this is how we have changed and we have created a dynamic graph which is for the sales by 2019. If I want, let's say I want to add an average line as well. Now I want to know what exactly is the average. So for that, I'll just go to analytics part. There are various things which you can include, like you can include the forecast, you can include the reference line, you can include the constant line or for an average. So let me drag and I'm going to drop it here. For the table, I'm calculating the average from the table. So I just select table and my average will be calculated here. I can change the average also. So I'll just click on here. I will can change it. So here is from the sum sales, the value is calculated. Computation, it is computer. Let's go to custom and whatever view I want. So I'll just type in average colon and I want the average to be here. So I'll just, add the value. So I will go with value here. So sorry, average, and then I'll just go with value. So whatever value is coming, the average will be calculated and that value will be shown here. So I'll just do OK and you see, I can see the value as well. I can again, format it by, changing the color or changing the words. Let's, go to the shading part and I can change the background shading as well, or I can change the line color, I can change the line format here as well. So if I want, I can change that as well. So for me, it is fine. I think it is all good. So this is what we will be doing for this chart. So we have created the first chart, that is sales by 2019. Now let's move on to the, let me just rename the sheet as well. So I'll change it sales by, yeah, I will just put sales. So this is for the sales part. Now let's create the second sheet. For the second sheet, I'll just you can just add a new sheet here, but since most of the editing I want like this only, so what I do is that I just duplicate it sheet. So just I'll do this and I'll do a duplicate. So once the sheet is duplicated, the next sheet which we'll be creating is sales by category. Now, if you look at this part, it says they want it to know how well the categories are performing. So sales of how well it is performing based on the category. So there are three categories here. If you look, so this is the sales by categories option. So let's do that. Okay, let me just rename this one. It is not sales by, it is sales for. That makes more sense. Okay. So let's move on to the second part. Now the category. So for the category, I'll just first remove everything. I just keep the filter because this year option I want throughout all the sheets. So I'll just keep this filter part here. So let's do with categories. Now for the category, what I'll do is that I'll drag the category option to the row part. So there is a category option here and I'll drop it to the row part. Now you see there are three categories, that is furniture, office supplies and technology. And for every category, I want to know the sales as well. So I will take the sales part and drag it into a column part. Now you can see that, let me remove this average part here. So this average, I can just remove it. I don't want the average here. So this is what it is creating, but it is very compact and it is not good looking. So what I'll do is that first I'll go to this and I'll just, select the bar chart. So for this, I have used the bar chart and I want this to the entire sheet, not just on the top. So for that, I'll go to here where you can see standard. You will just click on it and there are various options like if you want to fit according to the width, according to the height, or you want to fit an entire view. So I want an entire view. So it has been done that way. Now, since everything is okay and I don't want anything to be, removed or anything, so I'll just do is that I want, however, I want the labels here. Like I can see here, but I want how many sales are done for this year and how many sales are done for this year. I want those labels. So for doing that, I'll just drag the sales option to this label part here. Once I do that, I can see the labels here. So 2,15,387 sales have been done here, and so and so and so on. Right. So this is how I can change the alignment. If I want, I can change the alignment as well. So it will come to the center part. If I want it on the side, it will come to the side. This side, it will come to this side. I can change the alignment. I can also change the font. I can change the direction, everything from here. So whatever it is, I can change it from the label part. So this is the label. Okay. One more thing, I want to add the labels here as well, which I haven't added. So let's do that as well. So again, I'll drag the sales option to the label part and I can see all the labels here as well. Now, one thing I want is I want the rupees to be shown here in the labels and I want it to be in the K value. So I'll just go to the format part and I'll do that. For the format here, I will go to the default, I'll go to the standard currency, I will search here India and let's do India. So it is showing me rupees. And since I'm doing for the entire pane once again, so everything will be changed according to the pane. So I will remove the decimal points and I want the display to be in thousands. So whatever I have changed made, it has been showing here. Now this is more neat and more informative. So let's go do that in the second part as well. So here also I want that. So simply I'll again go to the sales part. I'll go to the format part. Here I can again change the currency. So let me add the currency. I'll add India here also. So let's go to rupees. Then for the custom, I'll remove the decimal points and I want it to thousands. However, this data I don't want into thousands. I just want this data to be into thousands. So I will not change this particular information. However, the rupees is useful. So that is what I'm doing here. So once this is done, you can see this is a proper labeling as well. Now let me change the category. So here I want it to be removed. However, if I want, I can, keep the year in brackets. So let me just open a bracket here. I want to keep the year also because I am doing that year as well. So let's say sales by category and I keep the year. However, I will change the format of it. I want to be in the bold option and I want it to be centralized. And okay, so sales by category. Okay, here also let me just bold this as well. Let me change the font here to bold. Okay. Uh, Okay, that's all. So this is sales by categories. Now the categories are showing here, and here the sales are showing. And this is now one more thing I want is that I want to visualize it more. Like I don't want this to be bland like blue. I want it shaded. Like the more sales, the more darker color. Now for doing that, I will again for doing that, I just drag my sales to the color part like this. Now, once I have dragged my sales to the color part, now whatever order you want to be changed on what category you want it to be changed, you just have to drag that category to that particular order. Like first I want the sales text to be written, so I have dragged it to the label. Now I want this color to be according to the sales, so I have dragged the date. If I want, let's say, size also as well according to the sales, so I can do that as well. Now you can see the size of the bars are also different based on the sales as well. So you can see the filters here. Now I don't want a blue color, as I said the logo of the discount mart is green. So let's go with the green color. So again, I'll go with edit color here and I'll just go to automatic and I'll select a green. You can select a gradient or whatever you want. So once I selected, my bar graphs have been set to green. And here also I want these lines to be green. So I'll just go here to the color part and I'll simply select green. So the lines will be green. So this is how I have created the category part also. Now let's create the third sheet. Let me just name this, rename this sales by categories. Okay. Now let's create the third sheet, which says that is a product per order sheet. Now this is what product per order, which is the answer to the question, this one, where Grand Cross assumed that most customers buy two or more products per basket. So we have to show that most of the customers are adding more than one item to the basket. So for that, we have to again create a graph. So let's do duplication of this and I'll go to the third part. Here also I'm renaming it to product per order. Okay. Also, I'll just remove whatever formatting I have added. So let me just remove these from here. However, I don't want to remove the filter because as I said, I need the filter for the year. So I'm just keeping that. I can change the name here. So the name will be, let me just rename this according to our sheet, that is product per order. And for which quantity I am taking, that means my bins. I'm creating an histogram here. So for the histogram, let's say the quantity of each bins will be of 2. So, okay, this is done. Now, what I do is that since I am doing the quantity part here, so I take the quantity and I will drag it to my row. Once I do that, it is created one entire column. However, I want a histogram or a continuous value after every 2. So let's go to the histogram, click on it, and this has created a quantity. Now, see, it has created two quantities, that is 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 2 to 6. So let's say if the quantity, if one per item is being added, then it is for 3,307. So I want to show that more than one item is being added. So if two items are being added, these many customers are adding two items. These many customers are adding two to four items. These many customers are adding 4 to 6 items and so on. So this is how I will create the size. However, if you look at this, this is not clearly coming exactly to 2, so we can do that as well. We will just go here and we will see edit in shelf option bin, or I can go to here also and I can see an edit option. Now you see the size of bin is not 2, it is 1.77. So I want it to be exactly 2, so I'll just do 2 and I'll do OK. Now you see the changes have been made on exactly 2. Now you can see the data more clearly compared to the previous one. So if I can see that for the year of 2019, not just going for all the year of 2019, if I go to for 2016 and not 19, then my histogram will be changed. Now for 2016, the customers that are 168 customers are adding one to two items. Then 985 are adding more than two items, that is 2 to 4. Then 6 for 64 are adding 4 to 6. So I can these are the in the histogram. This is called a bin. So I can change the bin size. If I can, I will just go to the quantity part, quantity bin, and I will go to the edit option. If I want the bins to be one, that means for each, so I'll just go for a one. So for 1 to 2, that means two for 2 items, the customer are 168. For 3 items, 466. For 4 items, 519, and so on. So I instead of doing for quantity of 2, I can go simply do the quantity of 1. So quantity of 1. So now if I'm looking for 2019, this is how the visuals will be looking. Again, I want to change the color of this, so I'll just go to the color part and I'll change the histogram color to this. I can change the size, I can change the labels, I can even give the labels. Now I can give the labels by dragging the quantity bin to the label. So now you see the sorry quantity bin, not the quantity bin. I have to drag the quantity. Now if I'm putting the quantity bin, then it is showing this is for the one quantity, this is for two, this is for three, this is for four. So I'm not doing that. I'm just dragging the quantity to the label part. So here I can see the clear values as well on the labels, like 337 for 1 to 2 items, for 2 to 3 items, 556 for 4 items, 2270. So as the assumption what the Frost made was that most of its customers add buy 2 or more products per basket. So we can clearly see that as a proof from this tableau as well, that mostly the customers buy more than 2 items. So this is how it is being done. So I hope you have had an idea of this. So this is the third chart which we have created. Now let's move to the fourth chart. That is the last chart of this graph, that is according to the region. Now you see we also have to show the sales according to different regions as well. So let's do that. Now again I'm duplicating the sheet and removing everything from here. Let me just remove this, remove this. Okay. So now let me just name the sheet as region part. So name I can give is like sales by states. Sales by state. I want the year to, if I want to insert the year also, because we'll be using that. So I can just insert the year order here also and I can do OK. So sales by state for 2019, we will have the data here. If I want, you can change the filter from here. So I'm keeping the filter throughout the sheet. Remember, I'm not removing the filters from here. So that is one thing. Now, before creating a sales map, I will or I can, just do it by, I can just rename this as well. I'll give it the name as sales map. Or I can do here also, instead of writing this, I'll just write sales map. That is more fun because here we'll be using an infographic map. Okay. Now, before adding a map, now if you look at this, we will first create a hierarchy. Now, what is a map? Now, if you look at the map, it is subdivided into various categories. Like it starts from the country, then there are states, then there are cities, and then inside the cities we have various regions which are the postal code. So if you look at the data here, we have all that. We have the country, we have the city, we have the states, we have the postal code as well. So before beginning with the map, what we do is that we will give the hierarchy to the geographical information which we have. So let's say we have the biggest geographical information, that is country. Now, if I talk about hierarchy, what is hierarchy? Like the bigger, then the smaller, then the smaller, then the smaller. Like if you talk about the hierarchy in the college, then there will be the chancellor, then vice chancellor, then the registrar, then dean, then HODs, and then teachers, and then students. So this is a hierarchy which is followed. Same for an organization, there will be a manager, then there will be a project manager, then there will be an employer. So this is the hierarchy in the industry. So same here, we'll be creating a hierarchy. So the biggest thing we have is country. Now, then after that, we have the state. So I'll just drag the state on top of the country. Now, if I drag it, it is asking you to do you want to create a hierarchy, and how the hierarchy goes. It is from country region and then to the state. So I'll just go and click OK. Now you see country and then state. Now after state, I want to add city. So I'll just drag the city and I'll drag it below. You can see the line below state. So wherever the line comes, the city will be added. So after state, I want to add city, so I'll do that. And after state, I also want to city, I want to add the postal code because that is also a region. So I'll just go and add it here as well. Now you see that whatever I have added the data here, now based on this hierarchy, we can create our map. So for that, I will just drag the state and country to the detail part. Now in this detail part, you see this is a dimension, drag the dimension, this detail part is the one that will be describing the hierarchy. So I'll just take this and I'll drag it here. So you see, it has created a sales map that has a United States. It is just showing the country because haven't added anything here. Now I want it according to the states. So I'll just click on the small add option. And you see, I can see various states as well, right? And I can even see different states here. I also want to like add the city. So I can see the city as well here. And if I want to add, like say, I want to use the kind of postal code, so the postal code will be added here as well. However, I don't want the city and the postal code. I'm just keeping up to state to keep it more simple. So I will do that. So this is how it is generated. Now, I don't want it this dot. I want it like to in the shaded part. So for that, I just go to another kind of map, which is this map. It is the shaded part map. So everything will be right now. It is shaded for the country because we haven't given any you know different values. So to give the different value, I want this to be shaded according to the sales because this is a sales map. So I want the shades to be according to the sales. Wherever the higher sale is, there should be a that should be of a darker color. So for doing that, I just take the sales option and I drag it to the color as we have done earlier. Now you can see for the country, for the state, that is California, the sales are highest. For New York, it is a little more darker. It is a lesser darker for Texas and very less for Utah. So here we have created a sales map based on the sales. Now I also want the sales to be visible. That is the amount. So I again take the sales option and I will drag it to the label part. So now the labels which I have been showing, now it is funny because this is a map of United States and we are using the symbol as a rupee here. But it is fine. If you want, you can change it to dollar as well. It's up to you. So you can do that. If I want to change the shade of it, we can change it from here as well. We can edit the colors if you want. You can edit the color or you can reverse the color as well. You can even increase the steps of the color if you want. but it's all up to you. So I want to keep it as it is. So this is the now as I change the year, it will be changed according to the year as well. So you can clearly see that a lot of data is equally filtered out depending on the type of year we are selecting, and we are creating a dashboard that is more uh, easily to understand, right? So now if I want this particular part to have a more beautiful view, I can go to the map option here, and I can, create different maps from here as well. Like if I want the background to be light, dark, normal, I want the street view. So it will show me the street view here. I'm sorry, just a moment. Okay, go back. Okay. Then I can even, include the satellite. If I want satellite view, I can do that as well in the map. I can, change the, I can give the street view, and whatever changes you want to make, you can make it from here. Even the images, you can go to the background layer, and you can also go for like whatever you want to add here. I'm sorry, map, and I'm going to the background layers. Okay. Here, if I want, I can add whatever here. Everything is being shown base terrain. I can remove that. I can add that. I can create a light shade as well instead of a dark shade. I can create a dark shade as well, or I can create a normal shade. So let's go for this normal one. This is more beautiful. And I can give the terrain here. I can also give the coastlines if I want. I want to give like the, let's say, country borders, so I can do that. So whatever I'm doing, everything is, modifying this map and creating a more beautiful look. So however, this is more than enough for us. So let's do that. That's just final. Now, apart from that, if you look at our dashboard here, there are these three values as well. So we have created these four maps. We will be compiling all that into a dashboard. So let's first create these three. These are called title cards, or you can say headline cards. So these are the headline cards which we'll be creating. So let's go back to the Tableau, and let me duplicate this again because we will be doing everything on the sheets. Now let me remove quickly everything. Okay. Okay. Now I want this to be like what is this? Okay. So now I want here to show me the total sales, the total quantity that has been sold, as well as the profit as well. So let's do that. So let me go back to the Tableau, and for that, let me just first rename this as the sales card. Sales card. Let me rename this as well as the sales card. Sales card. Okay. Let me click on OK. Okay. And now I want to add the values. So what I do is that I will just double click on the sales option here. See, once I do that, it can be added here also by double clicking it. So you don't have to manually drag and drop it. You can just double click it. It will go here as well. Now I want it into a text format. So I just click on the text part. This is a text option. Now this text is visible here. However, it is not that much beautiful. So I want it to be more better. So let's do that. By for doing that, I will just, okay, this is not going. This needs to go for me to show you. Let's give it some time. Let me just close the annotation and remove this thing. Let's give it some time. most probably it will go. Hmm. Anyways, let's edit this for the time being because this is not going. So, what I want is I want to add sales here below. So I will just click on here and see. This is a sum sale. I want it to be the center. I want the sum to be here, and also below I want the text sales to show as well. So that's what I'm doing. So okay, why it is not showing? Anyways, let me add the sales below. So let's go to the format part. No, that is also not showing. Just oh, we can do that as well. Okay. Thank God. So let's continue. Okay, so let me just close this. I will go to the text part here. Now this is the text which has been created. I want to add the some sales has been added as a text. So I want to change the way it looks. So I'll just go here and I'll click on that, and at the bottom I'm just doing sales. So, and I want this sales to be of green color. So I'll go to the green and I'll okay. So you can see it has been changed. Now since it is very at the comma at the corner, so what we'll do that I want to bring it in the center. So for that I'll again go to the standard here and I'll go to the entire view. Now again it has come to this part, so I want that as also as well as the center. So I'll just go to the alignment here and I'll do it at the center. I can change the sizes as well. So if I want, let's say I want this to be of size, I think 8 is more than okay. I can do a 9. So let's do that. So see, total number of sales for 2019 is 7 lakh, and I can change it for years as well. So this is the basically a sales card. I can even add the sales year also as here as well. So let's do that. Again, I'll go to the text part, and here I want to add year. So I'll go to the insert and let me just, okay, insert. We cannot insert years here. So let's just leave it. So this is what we have added. Now let's do that this for others as well. Now this was the sales card. Now we need a quantity card. So I'm just gonna duplicate this here and I'm gonna rename this as quantity. And instead of sales, I'll just remove the sales from here and I will go to the quantity and I will add it to the text. See, the quantity has been added here. Now, since this quantity will not be in rupees, so we will not giving me the value. I'm just renaming this as quantity card and okay. So this is a quantity. I also want the quantity to be written below. So let me just add quantity to the below as well. So quantity, I want this to be green. So let me do green. And I want this entire thing to be 9. So, okay. Now this is a quantity card. And lastly, I want to add a profit card as well. However, profit is no option here. So for that, we have to create a container or a category of profit here. So for doing that, what I do is that I will duplicate, let me just duplicate the sheet. Here I'm gonna rename, let me just rename is that quantity card. Quantity and card. Okay. And here I'm gonna rename it as profit. Profit. I'm gonna rename this as well. So let me just edit it. Profit. However, I want to add the profit here, although we don't have any category for that. Now, for doing that, we have to create another field or another category to, for the profit. So we have to add a calculated field or a field that will be calculated by Tableau. So that field is called a calculated field. And since we are not going to manually, do the calculation for all the 9,994 rows which are here, and we want that to be done by the Tableau itself. So we will create a calculated field. Now for doing that calculated field, let me just remove this. I don't want this here. I'll just go to the small arrow in the data part. Once I click it, you will see the option here, create a calculated field, right? We will click on that. Now we have to calculate the profit. So let me just give it a name, profit. This is a field name which I have to give. So it will be shown here. So if I'm giving calculation 1, the name will be shown here as calculation 1. So I'm giving it as a profit, and whatever calculation I have to make, I will do it here. Now the profit, if you look at the instructions, Grant has also given you a note which says that the profit is a 30% of the selling price. That is, the profit is a 30% of the sales which we have made. So that is what we will be doing here. So let's take the sales option, and here I'm going to type sales and see my sales option is included here. Now on the sales it is 30%. So we will multiply it by 0.3. Okay, and as I'm doing okay, it will create a field called a profit. Okay, now this profit I can add here. So I'll just, drag and drop it to the text part and see that the total profit of 2019 is 2,19,965. Although I want it to have the number value, so let me just give it to the currency, and I'm gonna do India here. However, that is not relevant, but we are in India, so let's do that. And I don't want it in any thousand, so this is the overall view. I also want to add the profit at title at the bottom, so I'll just go to the text part again. Here I'm gonna click enter and I'm gonna write profit. I want it to be in the green color, which we were doing earlier. I want the entire thing to be of size 9, and okay. So here I have created the last card, that is profit. Now for the final thing, that is, we have to create a dashboard. So we have done everything that we require for this layout. We have created sales for year, and we have also created quantity of products sold. We have also created sales by category, and we have also created sales map. So this is all we have here. We have the sales, we have the quantity of products sold, product per order. So let me just rename it like quantity of products sold. Since it is giving that, so let's do that. Quantity of product sold. However, we are keeping the bin size as 1. So let's keep the bin size as 1. Okay. Go down. So this is these are all the cards we have created. Now we have to add it to our dashboard. So we will just, you see the next option here. It say this option says dashboard. If you are not with this plus option, it creates a dashboard. So if once I click on that, see our dashboard has been created. Now this is a board where we will be dropping all the sheets. So you can see all the list of the sheets, even you can see the images, all the sheets which we have created. Let me just make it a little bigger. You can see all the different sheets which we have created are all listed here. We can simply just drag and drop it here onto the board. Now I want first the board size to be a little more bigger. So let's go for that. So we can manually change the size. So I want, let's say, 1300 to 900 pixels. So see, I have created a size of this dashboard. Now let's start by adding the very first sheet, that is the sales one. So I just have to drag it and drop it here. See, my sales is added here. Now, next I want to, now for every sheet, you will see that this filter will come along with it. However, we don't want it for every filter, every sheet. So let me just close this for every sheet here. This thing is creating a bit nuisance. Sorry. So let me just close. You just have to go to the small arrow here and you have to click it. And there is an option of hide card. So we will just hide this card. And we will do it for every sheet. So make sure you are hiding your filter card because all the filters will be shown here and that will be not feasible. So we will just keep the card of the first filter, and for that card, that will be used for the entire sheet. So I'll tell you how to link it as well. So let me just remove the remaining here, hide card. Let me just hide all the cards. I'm just keeping this one here. So let's go back to the dashboard. Okay. Now let's next add the next part, that is sales by. Let's look at the view. This is sales by category. So let's first add the quantity of products sold at the bottom. So we have product per quantity. Uh, so I'm gonna add this at the bottom. So this is quantity products sold. And then we have the category option. So let me go to the category. This is the sales by category. So I'm gonna add this here. Okay. And you can see the sales by category. Now here was the sales map. So let me add that. The sales map I have added here. So you see I have created mostly, most of the data is in here. Now, next I want cards which I have created the sales card uh, on the top part here. So I want the sales card here. I want the quantity card, let's say here, and I want the logo of as well. So let me just take this option, that is the text option. I want the name of the company here. So name of the company is Discount Mart. So let me write Discount Mart, and we are doing analysis. So let me write analytics, and I want this in the format bold. I want the size to be, let's say, 10. I want it to be centralized. I want the discount mart to be green, and I want the analytics to be not gray but black, and I want the entire thing to be bold. So I'll just do that, and okay, I have created one thing here. Apart from that, I also want to add the logo of the discount mart here. So I'll just, add the image. There is an image option. I will just drag it and I'll drop it here. I will choose the image. I have the image. You have to download the logo of that also. So I'm just choosing an image and I'm doing okay. So It is not fitting, so I'll right click and I'll just do a fit image. So you can see my image is also added. I can readjust the data of this. Okay, one more thing I forgot, that is a profit card. So let me add the profit card as well here. Or let me just drag it to here. Okay. Let me just reduce the size of this, adjusting the size of my dashboard. I am reducing the overall size of this as well. And now, one thing more, I want, like if I am doing for 2018, only the data for this is being changed. I want that this filter is applied to the entire field area, that is for the entire product. So I want everything to be like, in the for 2019 once I've changed 2019. So for doing that, what I do is that I'll do here and I will do an option apply to worksheets. Now whatever worksheets I want to apply, I will all using related data sources. So once I do that, now all the sheets that are using this data source will be changed according to the year. You can see everything. If I have deselected everything, every data is gone. I want for 2016 here. I will have the sales for 2016. I will have the sales by category for 2016. I will have the quantity sold. I will have the sales map for 2016 as well. So this is a pretty good practice of doing rather than just putting it for a particular year. So this now this filter is again creating a nuisance here. So let me just put it here like this. Okay. I don't want these options to be like this. So I'll just create a multiple value drop down. So instead of that, it will create a drop down. I can even create multiple custom lists. So it will create a custom list. But however the size is, I can even give a single value slider as well. So as I increase the slider, it increases the years as well. So whatever view you like, you can just, give that. So let me, I like the drop down better. So let me just give that a drop down here. So this is added here. Let me just, reduce this part so that my, this part is coming here. Okay. I want it to be ordered pretty nicely. So I'll just adjust the sizes as and when I want. So this is my size which I have adjusted. This is the dashboard. The entire dashboard is here, so you can see everything here. So now this for this you can clearly now see that I have done everything based on all the data that was here. I have created the sales graph and everything. Now, once this dashboard is created, now the last thing which you have to do is to publish it on your public account, that is on the Tableau public. Now for doing that, it is very simple. We will just go to the above option here. You see the server option here. I will just go to the server and there is an option below that says Tableau public. But this will only be done if you have a Tableau public option here. So make sure you have a public option, right? So I will just go to the save to Tableau public. Once I do that, I have to sign in with my email ID and a password. And once I create sign in, it will be published onto my Tableau publish. So let me just sign in. I don't remember. which email I have signed in. Let me just check if it is this one. Let me add the password. I hope I remember that. uh, okay. So I want to save it, or let me just save it with the workbook title. Let's say discount mart, and I'm doing save. So my views will be published on the Tableau public server. So it is saving. It will take some time to save all the workbooks. So once it is saved, this is my Tableau public account where I can view my profile here, and I can also view my views which I have created or the visuals which I have created on my portal. So I can see whatever I have created, it will be published for a view. So this is how we will create. This is how the very first project we have completed. We have created this dashboard here. I hope most of you must be able to understood. So one more thing, if I want the data to change according to, let's say, if I'm saying furniture, I want the data for this category for all throughout the sheet. So I can even link the sheets as well. For doing that, I'll just, click this filter, use as filter option. So I can use whatever part, like I want this category to be a filter. So once I do that, now if I'm saying furniture, so all my data will be according to the furniture. If I'm saying office supplies, then all my data will be according to the office supply for the year 2018. If I'm saying technology, then all my data will be for the category of technology. Similarly, if I want this sales map to as well be used as filter. So I'll just click this filter option here. Now, for let's say for California, if I want the data will be changed to California. Now for California and technology, these data are changing. I want it for all, so I'll just remove it, and for all three categories, the data will be shown for the state of California. So you can do that as well, right? So that also you can link the you can use the sheets as a filter in the this thing as well. So thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please make sure to make this dashboard and publish it on your Tableau public account. However, this is a redundant dashboard. You can change the designs, you can change the view, you can change the look and everything. Like I also one thing I don't want the title here, so I can just hide the title as well. So we can do a lot of things here. So please explore. If you have anything new that I haven't told you, you can even let me know that this can also be done through Tableau. So make sure to practice it, and we will see you in the next lecture with the next project. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming.